Zuckerberg exposed. A Facebook insider leaks video of executives admitting that they are actively engaged in censoring conservative voices. In this video, we're going to take a look at some excerpts of that video expose, how Facebook executives are actively imposing on all of us their Silicon Valley leftist agenda, and how more and more nations are rising up and pushing back against big tech censorship like never before. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you as always. We're here to give you conservative hope in the midst of these turbulent times by helping you to think better so you can feel better. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We would love to have you as a regular part of this channel. Also, for all of you Rumble fans out there, make sure to subscribe to our brand new Rumble channel by clicking on the link below. We're on our way to 100,000 subs there. And for you podcast fans, we're now one of the top 20 podcasts in the nation for political commentary. So make sure to click on that link below and sign up for our various podcast platforms and help us to get to #1. Before we begin, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of the Cold Killer Heater. You're not going to believe this thing. It is an amazing device. It works in even the coldest corners of my home where it seems impossible to warm up. It's like a furnace at your fingertips. It's amazing. I can move it virtually anywhere I want. My desktop, countertop, patio, any flat surface that needs heat. And if you order that Cold Killer today, you'll get 50% off for first-time buyers. Go check them out at thecoldkiller.com or click on the link in the description below and stay warm this winter season today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Project Veritas strikes again. They just published a new video leaked by a Facebook insider who's working with James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. And the video clearly exposes CEO Mark Zuckerberg and other senior executives explicitly and unequivocally admitting that they are engaged in censoring political speech on the right and promoting blatantly leftist partisan objectives. Now, of course, we've all known this. This video isn't revealing anything new to us. But those of us who have watched with horror the way big tech oligarchs have crushed free speech and dissenting opinions on the political right, or just even populist sentiments, we now have explicit evidence here. Explicit evidence so that there's simply no way for the mainstream media to pretend that big tech is purely disinterested in their platform policing. If you haven't seen the videos or read some of the transcripts, here's a summary of what they found. Take a look.
In his first day, President Biden already issued a number of executive orders on areas that we as a company really care quite deeply about.
But there has been quite a lot of disquiet expressed by many leaders around the world, from the president of Mexico to Alexander Navalny in Russia and Chancellor Angela Merkel and others, saying, well, this shows that private companies have got too much power and they should be only making these decisions in a way that is framed by democratically agreed rules. We agree with that. We agree with that. Mark had been very clear about that ideally we wouldn't be taking these decisions on our own. We would be taking these decisions in line with and in conformity with democratically agreed rules and principles. And at the moment, those democratically agreed rules don't exist. We still have to take decisions in real time.
We have a system that is able to freeze commenting on threads in cases where our systems are detecting that there may be a thread that has hate speech or violence sort of in the comments. These are all things we've built over the past 3-4 years as part of our investments into the integrity space, or efforts to protect elections.
I wonder whether or not we can use Oculus to help a white police officer understand what it feels like to be a young black man who's stopped and searched and arrested by the police. And I want every major decision to run through a civil rights lens.
I think that these were all important and positive steps, and I am looking forward to opportunities where Facebook is going to be able to work together with this new administration on some of their top priorities, starting with the COVID response.
Now, you'll notice a few things from that, okay? We've got this executive talking about the outrage from world leaders when they suspended President Trump's account, right? Both Facebook and Twitter. They ended up losing billions of dollars in stock value as a result of that ridiculous move a few weeks back. But if you remember, after Twitter in particular suspended President Trump, the Chancellor of Germany, none other than Angela Merkel, actually came out as one of the more vocal critics of the move, calling Twitter's actions, quote, problematic. Or French President Emmanuel Macron's administration expressed their concerns as well. They called it shocking to see a private company make such a paramount and frankly global decision to suspend the President of the United States account. Even the President of Mexico weighed in, saying that the blatant censoring of the President of the United States was a bad sign. But this executive, a fellow by the name of Nick Clegg, who's the Facebook head of global affairs, just a wee bit pretentious of a title if you ask me, but nevertheless, you'll notice how he responded to that uproar. He said, and I'm quoting him, "There's been quite a lot of disquiet expressed by many leaders around the world. Ideally, we wouldn't be making these decisions on our own." Of course, he's referring to the censorship decisions, the decisions to censor conservatives. "We wouldn't be making these decisions in line with our own conformity, but with democratically agreed rules and principles." And note what he says. At the moment, those democratically agreed rules don't exist. We still have to make decisions in, quote, real time. At the moment, those democratically agreed rules do not exist. So we here at Facebook will continue to enforce our own standards of civil discourse, which of course are, as you heard yourself in that montage, radical leftists. You know, the nature of the Silicon Valley partisan-based censorship was really brought home to me recently when I mentioned this before. I was on a conservative talk radio show, and the host pointed out that his radio station, being a terrestrial station, is regulated by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. He told me that in order for you to be able to broadcast your program on television or radio, you've got to comply with FCC standards, the law of the land, which of course this radio program that I was on certainly does. However, he told me, the host of this program, Facebook doesn't allow him to live stream his radio broadcasts. They've effectively banned him, even though he's in full compliance with FCC standards. So what this personal anecdote means is that this guy over at Facebook, this executive for global affairs, what he said is patent nonsense. It's utter and complete and total nonsense, because I just gave you an example of where there are democratically agreed upon rules for civil discourse, and Facebook still censors them. So it sounds to me that what this executive is saying is that until so-called democratically agreed upon rules actually line up and agree with our rules on Facebook, we're going to continue to act unilaterally in suppressing conservative speech. So much for democratically agreed upon rules. This is why the Brazilian philosopher Olavo de Carvalho calls these oligarchs like the big tech giants and Amazon and so forth. He refers to them as meta-capitalists. They're not capitalists. They're above the capitalism. They're meta-capitalists. They don't play the market. They are the market. They control the rules of the market, or increasingly, in this case, our discourse, right? Winners and losers are predetermined by just a handful of ultra-billionaires who have arrogated to themselves the prerogative to define and control the market and increasingly free speech. But the people have had it, and they're indeed fighting back. But first, I'm so excited to announce we do have a brand new alt-tech directory guide called The New Conservative's Survival Guide to Big Tech Censorship, which you can get absolutely free as an ebook download by clicking on the link below. This is a guide that's going to give you all of the alternative social media sites that are springing up all over the place that have all your favorite independent content creators, but without any of the censorship that we've been exposed to by big tech, particularly Facebook. It's also going to give you insights into what scholars are calling an emerging, I always do that, post-Google age. It's absolutely free as an ebook download, and it's yours by simply clicking on the link below. So don't let big tech censors get in the way of your favorite content creators. Click on that link below and enjoy your survival guide to big tech censorship today. All right, so more and more politicians, more and more national governments, they've had it with these big tech censors. So in Europe, the Polish parliament, led by the Nationalist Populist Law and Justice Party, they've introduced a bill that proposes very heavy fines against big tech, particularly Facebook. They would fine big tech firms $2.2 million every time they unconstitutionally censor lawful speech online. In other words, it'll be illegal for Facebook to censor any speech or block accounts that do not break Polish law. Now, I believe that's by definition democratically agreed upon rules, no? The nation of Hungary, led by the amazing Prime Minister Viktor Orban, is spearheading efforts to hold big tech legally accountable to Hungarian standards of law and social order. The Orban government has convened a meeting of the Hungarian Digital Freedom Committee, which is drafting plans on how to sanction what they're calling the unfair commercial practices of big tech in censoring conservative voices, which are actually very much invited to speak out in conservative Hungary. And here in the United States, more and more red states are rising up against big tech. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has publicly committed himself to bringing an end once and for all to conservative censorship in social media. The Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is also stepping into the ring here. He's promising to fight back against big tech censorship with everything that he's got. He actually filed just recently an antitrust law against Google for colluding with Facebook in an illegal deal to manipulate auctions for online advertising. And in North Dakota, the state legislature is considering a bill that would prohibit social media companies from censoring messages and posts that don't break North Dakota law. And in addition, the legislation would actually allow social media users to sue Facebook and Twitter for censoring their free speech. So we really are seeing a massive backlash amassing against the censorship efforts of big tech. And the latest video exposing Facebook executives makes its rounds, ironically, through social media, as well as all tech platforms for all to see. That backlash is just beginning. We ain't seen nothing yet. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. You definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how the Rhino Liz Cheney's support has imploded to just 13% as Trump vows that the GOP will indeed win Congress in 2022. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.